If the word networking makes you want to shut your laptop and go do literally anything else, this video is for you. Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you just hate small talk. Maybe you're reaching out to someone you haven't spoken to in 5 years and it really feels awkward. Or maybe you're thinking, Lori, I don't want to bother people. Yeah, I hear this all the time. You do not have to become a professional networker to build a network. In fact, I want you to stop thinking about networking as networking. Think about it as building professional relationships through genuine curiosity. That's it. You're having conversations, you're learning about people, they're learning about you, you're sharing information, and occasionally you're helping one another. And that's networking. And if we haven't met, my name is Lori Lawrence, and I'm founder of Next Chapter Career Coaching and the Next Chapter Method. I'm a job search specialist. And you know, here's one of the biggest reasons people avoid networking. You can't immediately see the result. You can't sit down tonight, find 5 jobs on LinkedIn, submit 5 applications and say, okay, I've accomplished something. You checked the box. Networking doesn't give you that same immediate gratification. Yeah, you can write 15 different LinkedIn DMs or emails, and maybe one converts into a 20-minute conversation with a former colleague today, and then nothing happens next week, and nothing happens even 3 weeks from now. But that person talks to somebody who happens to work at one of your target companies. They mention you. That person then introduces you to someone else. And now suddenly you're having a conversation about a potential position that may not even be posted yet. You couldn't have predicted any of it. And that's why networking can be so frustrating for job seekers. You don't always see the path. But I want you to remember this. Just because you can't see where a message is going doesn't mean it's going nowhere. And this is especially important for experienced professionals. If you're 45 or older, I'm telling you, you have something a 25 or 30-year-old simply doesn't have yet. You have decades of people, former colleagues, former bosses, customers, vendors, partners, people you've hired, people you've helped, people you've worked alongside, people who have moved on to completely different companies. This is an asset. Use it. Here's some strategies I want you to begin using immediately. Strategy number 1, start with people you already know. If you're networking adverse, please don't start by sending messages to 50 complete strangers. Start with what are sometimes called dormant ties. These people you know but haven't spoken with recently. Go back through your career. Who did you enjoy working with? Who respected your work? Who did you help? Who did you learn from? Who left your company maybe 3-5 years ago and went someplace interesting? Start there. And your message doesn't need to be, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you know of anything? No, that's exactly what makes networking feel very kind of icky and transactional. Instead, try something like, hey, it's been way too long. I'm making a career transition right now and exploring what I want my next chapter to look like. And I'd love to reconnect and hear what you've been up to. And I even would love to get your perspective on what you're seeing in the market. Now that's a conversation. You're not asking them to find you a job. You're reconnecting and you're focused on them. And sometimes I'll even tell my clients to use 4 simple words. I need your help. People genuinely want to help, but they need to understand how to help you. So strategy number 2, become a commenter. Here's another one for my introverts. You don't have to attend a giant networking event. You don't have to walk around with a name tag. You don't have to shake 37 hands. You can start right from your couch. Become a thoughtful commenter on LinkedIn. And I don't mean great post or Thanks for sharing. Those comments are not going to do much for you. But what I want you to find are people inside your target companies, people you know also, leaders in your field, recruiters who specialize in your industry, former colleagues, people doing work you're genuinely interested in. Then leave 3 to 5 thoughtful comments every week. Add an observation. Share something you've learned. Ask a smart question. You might write something like, oh, wow, this really resonates. One thing I saw repeatedly when leading teams through this kind of change was that adoption became much easier when employees understood the why before we introduced the how. Curious if you've seen the same thing. Now, you're not begging for attention. You're demonstrating experience. You're demonstrating relevance. And you're starting a conversation. That's networking. Strategy number 3, stop trying to be interesting. Yeah, this is one of my favorite networking strategies. If you hate small talk, stop trying to be interesting. Be interested. As Tad Lasso points out, be curious. Make the conversation about the other person. I call this being other-centric. Instead of wondering what I'm going to say, ask, what can I learn? Here are a few questions I want you to keep in your back pocket. What are you seeing change in your industry right now? What's been the biggest challenge for your team this year? What do you enjoy most about the company you're working for? What kinds of people tend to be successful there? If you were entering the industry today, what would you pay attention to? Do you think companies are struggling to find experienced talent? Now, you don't have to carry the conversation. Curiosity carries it for you. And here's the other benefit. You're gathering intelligence about the market. That's incredibly valuable during a job search. Then use what I call the pivot. At some point, you want the other person to understand what you bring to the table. But you don't need to launch into a 5-minute sales pitch. Use a pivot. For example, it's really interesting to hear how your company is handling that challenge. I've actually dealt with something very similar. In fact, in my last role, we were able to, and then share a short example. Maybe you increased revenue. Maybe you retained a major account. Maybe you turned around a struggling team. Maybe you implemented a new system. Maybe you reduced cost. Then finish with a question. Is that kind of experience something your organization values? Do you hear the difference? You didn't say, can you get me a job? Created relevance. That's what strategic networking looks like. Let's talk about something that absolutely drives job seekers crazy. You send 5 messages or 15. And what if nobody responds? And immediately your brain starts creating a story. Oh my gosh, they don't remember me. They don't want to help me. I'm bothering them. No one wants to network with somebody who's unemployed. Stop. You have absolutely no idea why they didn't respond. People are busy. They're traveling, they're in meetings, they read your message at the grocery store and forgot to answer. Your job search is understandably one of the biggest priorities in your life. However, it is not one of the biggest priorities in theirs. And that's okay. Follow up. Something as simple as, hey, I know things get busy, so I wanted to bump this back up. I'd still love to reconnect when you have a few minutes. That's not annoying. That's professional follow-up. This is where I see job seekers make another mistake. They network randomly. Monday, they message 7 people, then nothing for 2 weeks. They panic because they aren't getting interviews and they send 20 messages. That's not a strategy. Inside my next chapter method, I teach people to treat the job search like a business initiative. So here's your assignment. For the next 4 weeks, I want you to do just 3 things every week. Number 1, reconnect with 3 people you already know. Number 2, leave 3 to 5 meaningful comments on LinkedIn with people or companies you want to become more visible to. And number 3, have at least 1 actual conversation on the phone, in person, or virtually. That's it. 3 reconnects, 3 to 5 comments, 1 conversation. Do that every week for a month. Now you are building momentum. And here's the important part. Don't judge whether it's working after 7 days. Relationships compound. 1 conversation creates another. 1 introduction creates another. 1 comment leads to a profile view. That profile view becomes a connection. That connection becomes a conversation. That conversation leads to an introduction. And eventually, someone knows someone. So if you're networking Averse, here's what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow, today. Open LinkedIn. Find 3 people you already know but haven't spoken to recently. Send each of them a short message. Don't ask for a job. Don't send your resume. Don't write 5 paragraphs explaining your unemployment. Just reconnect. Then find 1 person at a company you genuinely like to work for and follow them. Read what they're talking about. And when you have something worthwhile to contribute, join the conversation. Start small. You don't need 50 conversations. You need the right conversation with the right people. And 1 final thought. If you've been spending most of your job searching LinkedIn, applying, waiting, getting rejected, and then repeating that process, I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Am I actually running a job search strategy, or am I just running an application routine? Because those are 2 very different things. Networking isn't about asking people for jobs. It's about creating enough professional relationships that when opportunities emerge, people know who you are, what you do, and the problems you can solve. That's the goal. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable, especially in the beginning. But you don't have to become an extrovert. You don't have to become someone you are not. You just have to become intentional. And if you've been searching for months and you're realizing that your strategy isn't producing enough conversations or interviews, let's talk. I work specifically with very experienced, tenured professionals navigating their next chapter. And we built a job search strategy around your target roles, your target companies, your professional brand, and your network, and how you're going to get in front of the right people so you can begin interviewing and getting offers. Like, follow, and book some time with me. We'll look at what you're currently doing, where you're getting stuck, and what needs to change. Because your next opportunity may not come from the next application you submit. It may come from the next conversation you start. I'll see you next time. Bye.